Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tip Off today. Apologize, we had some audio problems on the last version. I think I've got those rectified, so we should be in pretty good shape today. It might be a little hot, but other than that, we're all right. All right, bunch of things to hit on today. The first one was in a Sonic shirt. Maybe that's why it didn't work. All right. First off, I want to thank everybody. There's been a bunch of issues recently where I've asked for some correspondence back and forth. I've gotten great response. I love that about this. That's the whole point in all of it, so thank you very much. Second thing is that David Locke Facebook has reached that 5,000 point of friends, so please like Locked on Sports. I hate it. It doesn't allow as much personal interaction, sharing life and real stuff, but that's what can I do? That's what Facebook allows us to. So please do those things. All right, let's hit some of the hot topics. Andre Karolinko's tattoo. See, on Facebook, you guys can all see mine. Excuse me, on YouTube, you can all see mine. You'll have to envision. There's nothing there. All right, I gotta laugh with you for a second. I literally have about 12 to 15 emails from people who are like, "Do you think this is a sign that he's not coming back to Utah?" Okay, really? It's a fascinating conversation, or excuse me, fascinating combination of both being insanely short-sighted and insanely self-centered. The players aren't getting tattoos or not based on what they think the fan base of a given city is. It's not going to be done in reaction to Salt Lake and the conservative brethren of Salt Lake City. I promise. And the second thing is, if players who come to Salt Lake are only players without tattoos, we'd have no players. So seriously, I understand it's only like 12 or 15 people, but it's a lot, surprisingly, and it's really one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. So let me chuckle with you for a minute. It's absurd. Totally absurd. And do I go here? It's representative to me of this. I love living here. I've done it 3 times. We have the best recreation. We have the best environment. We have a great place to raise a family. We are easy to get around. It's an easy city to manage. We've grown over the last decade or two to a level where we've got a lot more than we've ever had before. We still are missing things, like we don't have a huge amount of culture. We aren't a metropolitan downtown. We don't have huge commerce. We don't have a huge amount of influences from outside. We don't have diversity. Fine. In my opinion, I weigh those two things. I love living here. The only thing that drives me nuts, is maybe, like, you got to understand we don't have to understand how the rest of the world works a little bit. And it's representative there in the, "Oh my gosh, this Andre got a tattoo, so he doesn't want to be in Salt Lake anymore." Like, whoa, the horses, Nelly. Whoa, the horses. So I thought that was a little ridiculous. Bunch of stuff on the NBA. Those games were insane. I woke up this morning and fully just stunned a little bit about how awesome those games were. That the Celtic Heat fourth quarter, and really midway through the third on, was as good hardcore defensive basketball. You're not getting any plays run anymore. Everyone's just going one-on-one. Everyone's just making plays at this point. LeBron was amazing. Gosh, he was great. Wade did a big one as well. That sequence where LeBron and then Ray hit the shot, I was just diving into the couch and loving it. That was awesome stuff. But by the way, what was this crap from, "Oh, I'm Chris Bosh"? You loser. Like, LeBron, great players make plays and they fist clinch and they do something. It makes you believe that they knew they were going to do it, that was a part of who they are. And then the loser, Chris Bosh, Garnett goes out and guards LeBron. LeBron misses, and Bosh taps it in because he got in front of Ray Allen, who's 6'4", and Bosh is like pounding the chest. "I am done!" You loser. It totally showed me that Chris Bosh had no belief that he could handle that moment, that he could make a play when he had to make a play, or anything of that ilk, because his reaction was so, "Look at me, look at me, look at me, I made a play, I made a play, I made a play." Loser. Anyway, great game. What's interesting in all these games is everything's going small. Everything in the matchup between these games, by the time you hit game 4, 5, 6, 7 of a playoff series, one of the bigs leaves, it goes small, it goes athletic because everybody knows the plays. Um, and you have to just, everybody has to make plays. And the Thunder Grizzlies series, I think, is over. I think the Thunder just won it largely based on that they went small in that matchup, forced Zach Randolph to try to guard Quan Cook because they didn't want him guarding Kevin Durant. Cook hit a bunch of threes to bring him back into the game. And in turn, there was really no answer for Memphis because Zach didn't take advantage of Durant enough on the other side. And so now Memphis, suddenly their strength, which is playing Marc Gasol and Zach Randolph together, is suddenly not available to them because the fact that the Thunder are going small. So watch that in that series. And then just generally in every series at this point, teams start to go small and go small. A lot of talk about Westbrook. And there's two sides to this. One, I would not want to play on a team with him if he's my point guard. Two, with he and Durant are the only guys that can score until James Harden steps up. And what would be telling is if they got other scorers, whether or not Westbrook would still be as ball dominant. But you can't have Durant go 9 minutes without a shot. You can't have Durant go as long as he did without a touch. Westbrook is a one-on-one player. He's not a point guard. Drew Holiday played the point at UCLA a lot of that time. And it's going to cost them at some point. And I think it's telling that if you're a player, I don't think you want to be a play with him as your point guard. He's certainly not doing anything to make any of the other guys better. Bowlerjack, Locke, and Gerard yesterday. Scotty G and I talked for a while from a Jazz perspective of the Lakers' demise. Let's clarify a few things about the Lakers' demise. It's over. Two, Kobe's played over 40,000 minutes. The only players in the NBA that have ever won a title having played over 40,000 minutes are Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Wilt Chamberlain. They're both over 7 feet, and they're both bit pieces at that point. Second thing is there's no team I can find in the history of the NBA that has gotten hammered the way the Lakers just did and then came back to win another championship. Just doesn't happen. So I think the Lakers are completely dead. The sad thing that takes place here is the Jazz really built their franchise for the last period of time completely with being ready for the day the Lakers blinked. And if you watch the Lakers, they have progressively gotten less good each and every year. I mean, last year's run to me was really a fortunate thing for them. They got the Thunder, who'd never been a playoff series. They got a completely dismantled Jazz team without Karolinko and Okoro. And then they got Phoenix, who plays that up and down style. It's not a playoff team. And they get to the finals and they win in Game 7. Give them credit, but that was in no way a dominant team. That was a far less dominant team than you've seen before. And what's too bad is here finally they fall off the cliff and they're done, and the Jazz aren't ready to take advantage. And Bowler and Gerard were very kind of, hey, they're close. Or I think really Bowler was the Jazz are close. They're close. I'm not sure how I'm willing to go here on that issue. I can understand it. Maybe make a right trade or you get some other pieces. But and you look at Memphis, I don't think the Jazz are that far away from doing that. But I really think this league still, for all of our other discussions, is about having a star. Favors, I think, could be that star, but he's a few years away. And the other one I just think we got to, as we look ahead to the upcoming season, and in fairness to Tyrone Corbin, maybe as the head coach, we got to look back January 1 on. The Jazz were like the 5th worst team in the NBA. So I think they're a little bit further to go than maybe we're really realizing. The other angle on that, I would say, is, Kevin Pelton of Basketball Prospectus just did a really nice piece about the 5 worst positions in the NBA. The Jazz shooting guard, I think, was the 4th or 5th. So if the Jazz can fix the shooting guard position, that should help them out and give them a good bump. But I'm not sure. I don't know. It's a pretty substantial bump we're talking about is, I guess, my point. And you need a star, and we don't have a star right now. So you're going to need to have some guys really step further ahead. All right, a few other notes for you of news that's just breaking today. Actually, some of it's breaking on Twitter right over here when we were chatting. Gus Johnson will be the number 1 announcer on Pac-12 college football, along with Charles Davis as his analyst. Charles is a good guy, very, very bright individual. He and Gus should have a good time together. So that'll be the Pac-12 football number 1 team on Fox this year. College coaching, Houston's interviewing everyone in the world. Golden State has zeroed in right now on Dwayne Casey and Mike Brown. Casey is one of the 3 best candidates going on available for Houston as well. Casey was a head coach in Minnesota and now is an assistant with Dallas, so keep an eye on him. Mike Brown, of course, was in Cleveland. Tyrone Corbin would have been in all of these jobs and would have gotten one of these jobs. You know, as hard as it was to see Jerry go, I think there's a great advantage for Utah that Tyrone's got this. He's in control of the franchise, and the franchise is moving forward rather than losing Tyrone and possibly losing Jerry in the upcoming months, years, whatever it might be. All right, again, apologize for some of the audio problems. This is the correct version of Tip-Off today. Hope you have a good one. Thank you very much, and goodbye to my friends at YouTube.